Hey guys, it's Great Plain Crypto here with another video on the installation process of the SMOS. Recently I switched over from Windows-based to this Linux-based SMOS and I'm really liking it. So I thought I would just go through the basic setup of it, starting at their homepage. So it's just simplemining.net. You just log in and it takes you to this page here, which you can also get it by just going to the About SMOS page. Of course, it's got everything you need to know right here to get started on it. It's got the different downloads for the different series of graphics cards that you're using, and it's got the installation on it. There are also the requirements. You need any hard drive that's erasable or writable. You gotta have AMD or NVIDIA cards, and you gotta have to have a LAN connector. Does not work on Wi-Fi at all. You can't use a Wi-Fi adapter. You can't use an Ethernet to Wi-Fi adapter. It's got to have straight Ethernet to work. And you don't want to assign it a public address, an IP address, or forward SSH port to the rig. It will just cause it to crash. So with those requirements, you don't have to have, it's a Linux-based system working off of Ubuntu, so it's super easy to install. So you're just going to start with the installation. You need to download the flashing tool. Just click on that, and it will download into my laptop here. That's going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video and wait for that to download. Alright guys, so there we have it. It's downloaded, so I'm going to go ahead and launch it. You're just going to agree to the terms and conditions and let it install this etcher setup. Okay, so there's the setup of it. Next, we're going to go back to SMOS page, and we're going to download the image that we're going to write to it. In this case, we're going to select the NVIDIA RX image, and we're going to download that. It's going to take another moment to download, so I will just pause the video while it's doing that. Alright, so there it is downloaded. I always like to see it in the folder, and I cut it out of the downloads folder. So there's a simple miner for the RX cards. I'm going to right click that and cut that from there. And we're going to go to the desktop and create a new file. Call it SMOS. I'm going to go in there because once you've saved these out, flashing a new one is super easy. You just come into this file and you flash that onto it. Okay, so there's our file. Kind of went out of order on this, but now we're ready to flash it onto the drive. So we're going to right click that, pin it to our taskbar so that it's there for future use. Open it up, go to the desktop, to our SMOS. There's our file. Now I'm just using a 16 gigabyte ScanDisk pen drive, thumb drive. But you can use 8 gigabytes. Anything bigger than the 8 gigabyte is going to be there. So there's my new drive that I just stuck in there, and all we do is make sure that's connected again. This is a 16 gigabyte, but you can use an 8 gigabyte and it will work just fine. All you do is click flash. Now it's going to erase everything that was on there. This wasn't one from stock. I mean, I did use this for other stuff, but it's going to erase everything that was on there. It's going to flash it to this operating system, to the SMOS system on the Ubuntu OS using Linux. And it's going to take it a few minutes. First, it's going to flash it, and then it will validate it. So the downloading on my computer, I'm using a laptop with a i7 processor. I only think I have I think I have 12 megs of, or 12 gigabytes of download speed. So it took it about 15 minutes to download the file. It's going to take it about 15 minutes to flash, and then it's going to take it about 15 minutes to validate. So I'll pause the video and pick back up when that's done. Some kind of exchange. All that talk about giving something up and he was doing this. Alright guys, so it's flashed now. I just got the notification saying that it had been flashed. So we open it back up and it takes you back to that screen. You can flash another one. It's super easy. Just click flash another one. You put a new stick in there and flash it right to it. So now going back to SMOS. Then after you've got it flashed, you got to open it up and edit the config file by putting in your email. So we'll just open the browser. We'll go to that drive. We'll unplug it and plug it back in so that it populates. There it is. We'll open it up and there's our config file. Now we'll edit that config file to change this email is all you got to do. That's done. So then you just close that file and it's just a text file, .txt. So it's set up and ready to go. Now your config file is now a text document. You plug that into your rig and away you go. Once it comes in, it's going to come up with a rig list. So you're going to be able to name it whatever you want in your rig list. To get your groups, those are all customizable, super easy to do. You just go to the rig groups, you add a group. These are all of the options that they have preloaded on there that they support. Now we just loaded let's see, we just loaded the RX NVIDIA rigs. So any of these here that say the RX or NVIDIA, you can load it to. You could just add that group, and when you select it, there's your config file just like you would have set up on Windows Claymore, or you know, you're just going to edit your information. It's going to come up with the defaults. The developer uses those defaults. It's a good way of testing it. You know, if you want to, you know, if you're not sure you're getting your config file set up right, just go ahead and run it on the default, and you know, the rig will go up and run if your rig has no issues. So that's a great way of testing it. These are just ones that I've set up to change your rig. Once you get a bunch of defaults set up in there, all you got to do is go to your rig list. And so right now this rig 2 is mining on 4 Fury cards at 400, an average of 460 hash each. So you just select the box, go to assign group. Let's say I wanted to change that to mine Ethereum and Decred. Boom, it's done. So I use the what to mine on a daily basis to kind of go through and figure out what's going to be most profitable. You know, there's lots of good videos out there on how to use what to mine the most effectively, but you basically just put in your your cards, check that the hash power is right. You know, the hash is about what your rigs are producing, and you click calculate, and it will populate to whatever's the most profitable at the current time. And so then you can swap it up super easy. All it takes is just reassigning the group. So there you have it, guys. There's a basic installation process of SMOS. Let me just go back to the About page to make sure that I have gone over everything. Once we've edited our config file, you want to be sure that your BIOS is the latest edition. You want to be sure that you have 4G encode enabled on any Intel or Asus. AMD rigs don't require that, but all the other chipsets do. You want to enable the onboard graphics so that you can plug a screen into it for any troubleshooting that you may want to do, or if you want to just view it from the screen. Another way of viewing what's happening on the rig is you just go to rig list, and you can just click on the console. So there's that rig that I just changed over, and now it's changed to mining Ethereum and Decred. This will give you that same console. If you wanted to see that without having to go into there, you would just go into and enable the onboards video graphics, plug your monitor into that, and that would allow you to do it. Stick it in your drive, and away you go. You're ready to mine. I would suggest changing your motherboard BIOS to auto restart after power down. That way, as soon as if the rig ever loses power, it will automatically boot back up. They do sell a simple reset rig that you can purchase from them. It's through their website. But a cheaper way of doing that is just to set in the BIOS that the rig automatically reboots on power up or power failure. So there it is. Super easy, super effective. I have noticed that the hash power is, if you look at some of my other videos, you'll see that I have noticed that the hash power has increased using the Linux kernels versus the Windows. So if you want, feel free to take a look at the other videos on the channel. Guys, if you like the video, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, feel free to give a thumbs down. Give a comment below. Let me know what else you'd like to see. I'm thinking about maybe putting out another video tomorrow on the actual rig group configuration and some of the tips and tricks that I have seen on the forums for that. Any other things you might like to see, please leave a comment below. Turn the bells on so that you get notified of any new content that I put out. And as always, have a great day.